Hey guys, hello and welcome to Naveed for Speed. And for today's video, I'm really excited to be bringing to you this, the Mk8.5 Golf R, the hot hatch of the golf range. It's the performance-orientated hatchback. And I'm really excited to see what this car feels like. Obviously, I've driven the 20th anniversary edition of the Golf R. That was the Mark 8, but this is the Mark 8.5, which has taken a lot from that car and learned a lot from that car and put it into this. So I'm excited to see what this car is like. And obviously, the golf range is quite important to Volkswagen, but the Golf R has a bit of a soft spot in the enthusiast's heart. It sold over 250,000 units around the world and has sold 50,000 units here in the UK since 2002, back when we had the Golf R32. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you around the exterior of the car, I'm going to be showing you around the interior, and I'm going to be taking you out on a drive to see exactly what that performance is like. But before I do, let me tell you about the exterior. And I'll start with this paint color because I really like this paint color. It's called Lapiz Blue. It's an optional extra that costs just over £900, and I think it looks really nice. I'm a big fan of blue, and it is a coincidence that I've matched my clothes with the car. But yeah, I mean, give me a blue car and I'll be happy. Let me show you around some of the features of the car, and we'll start at the front of the car because this car has the R styling pack, which means it's got body colored / gloss black bumpers, front and rear, and I'll show you about the rear wing as well. But you'll also notice over here you've got this illuminated Volkswagen badge over here, and you've got this light bar at the front. Now usually I'm not a fan of light bars, especially at the front of the car, because they kind of take the creativity out of designing a car. But that's okay with this car because it also has matrix LED headlights as well, and I think they look really cool. So I don't mind a light bar in the front as well. That has divided opinions, but I think it works here. Right, let's go towards the sides of the car because I will show you these wheels, these alloy wheels. Now with the Golf R you get 18-inch alloy wheels as standard, but this one has these optional extra wheels which are 19-inch, and they come with this dark graphite color and a diamond cut. Now I really like Golf wheels because they come with these really thin spoke, and I think they really suit the Golf car in general. And you've got these anti-theft locking nuts as well. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah, so just a bit more security so nobody takes your wheels. Now if you do buy these wheels as an optional extra, you get the R performance pack as well. Now that gives you a higher top speed, it gives you a better rear spoiler. I think it's, you know, you get that for free if you buy these wheels, so I think that's really cool. As we keep moving further towards the side of the car, you'll notice Golf R badging. You'll notice this around the car at the front and at the back as well. But you'll notice these wing mirrors here, this sort of matte chrome color, and they contrast the car's color really well. I think that's really quite cool because they kind of match a little bit with the alloy wheels, because you've got other black features around the car. You've got the gloss black B-pillar over here. Part of that R styling pack, you get body colored side sills as well, and this is not part of the R styling pack, you get body colored door handles as well. And again, I think they look really good to match the car. So there's some parts of the car that match the car's color and some parts of the car that contrast the car's colors, but I think it looks really good. Side profile of the car, you'll notice it's this car's 4.2 meters long, so it's a reasonable size. Should be easy to maneuver around a car park, for example, but really nice and agile, especially in corners, and the four-wheel drive system should really help that. As we keep going further towards the back of the car, now the first thing you'll notice straight away is this rear spoiler, which looks quite prominent. Now obviously this car has the R performance pack, the R styling pack, and this spoiler really does stand out. But again, this is the hot hatch. This is the hottest hatch that Volkswagen make in the Golf range. It's the most powerful one, 333 horsepower, so it should stand out a little bit, and I think the spoiler does really well to make the car stand out on the road. Back here, you'll also notice these rear combination lamps, these rear taillights with a dynamic turn signal or indicator. I think they look really cool. They've got this sort of 3D effect going on in there. Again, especially in the dark, I think they would look really nice. And at the very back bottom of the car, you'll see the twin tailpipes on either side, these exhaust pipes. I think they look really cool, especially when the car's driving and the sound's coming out. I think they should really pop and bang. Let's see what that's like when we take the car out on the road. And you'll also notice this rear diffuser. So I think overall that adds to that whole sporty performance aspect of this car. But let me show you the boot whilst we're back here as well. So we'll just open the boot back here. So here's the boot. Now, because this is a hot hatch, you might expect it to not have a lot of boot space, but it's actually quite in line with cars in this sort of market. The cars like the Audi RS3 and your Japanese counterparts like the Civic Type R and stuff. The boot space back here is 341 litres, and there is some space robbed underneath the floor, because obviously you've got the four-wheel drive system, but generally you've got a lot of space back here, quite practical, reasonably large. Oh, can't even get that back in. There we go. You've got a reasonably large opening to get stuff in and out of as well, and you can also put the boot floor higher as well, like so, in case you need less of a load lip to get stuff in and out of the car. Now the rear seats, you'll notice over here, you can just about see that you can actually get a ski hatch, so you can load through as well. So that's quite convenient if you've got longer items as well. But yeah, that's the boot, that's the practicality back here. Let me show you the interior of the car, because I think that looks pretty cool as well. So let me tell you about the interior of the Golf R, because it's actually a nice place to be. It feels sporty, it feels performance orientated, especially when you have this driver display and the infotainment system and everything sort of angled towards the driver. You feel like you're right in the center of the action, and especially when you're driving a bit more dynamically, that's a good place to be. You'll also notice these sort of bucket style seats, which again add to that sporty feel. These bucket style seats come with this R fabric inside, and you also get this sort of, it's called Art Velour micro fleece, this sort of Alcantara kind of material on the seat, and then you also get leather with contrasting stitching. But I think it actually feels quite comfortable, even though they're kind of styled to be like bucket seats, but I think it's reasonably good. Whether they hold you into place really well when we take you out to drive, let's see what that's like. But I think generally, yeah, even though it's performance oriented, it feels like it will be suitable for a range of different driving scenarios. Let me tell you about the rest of the car. Let me tell you about the steering wheel, because it has this leather on it, this perforated leather in the middle. This is the performance steering wheel, which I think looks really good. It's got this sort of angular feel to it, especially with some of the features over here, and you've got gloss black. One thing you will notice is it has the haptic buttons, haptic feedback buttons over here on the steering wheel, which the rest of the Golf range doesn't have anymore, but the Golf R still does have this, and I know a lot of people don't like these. Again, I'm going to see how they feel when we go out on the road, if my hand does touch it. I did find that it did when I drove the Cupra Born, but in this car, let's see what that's like. You can see these really big flappy paddles at the back over here for changing gears. Again, I think they look really nice and sporty, and adds to that design flair that you have inside this cabin. The rest of the cabin is quite nice. I mean, you've got gloss black, especially here in the center console, and then you've got some plastics, which especially lower down in the car, they do feel a little bit cheap and scratchy, but higher up in the car, the stuff that you could feel, this is like a soft squidgy material over here as well. I think generally it does well to, even though everything is really stripped back in a way, a lot of stuff is an optional extra. Stuff like heads-up display is an optional extra, but I think again it does really well to make that driving experience really cool for you. Let me tell you about this infotainment system. 12.9-inch screen over here with Volkswagen's new infotainment system. We've seen something similar to this with the Cupra Terramar that I reviewed. If you haven't seen the Cupra Terramar video, just click this button up here. But anyway, yes, this is the infotainment system. You can get some well, climate controls down here, so you have to sort of click these shortcuts down here, and you can change certain things down here, and you can also set some shortcuts up here, but if you want to click the menu, you can do it through here. It's rather responsive, reasonably big, big buttons to touch, which is good, especially if you're driving a bit more dynamically. You don't want to be touching small buttons. These are relatively big buttons, and really, I would say it's intuitive, but I mean, upon my first impressions, I don't think it is. I don't know how to open the climate control function from here. I mean, can we use... Yeah, actually, well, you have these buttons which down here, which are always a bit of a pain to use, but they're backlit now, so you should be able to use them even when you're driving in the dark. Down here, you've got place to put your phone. a wireless charging pad over here, and you can also cover your phone so it's out of sight. In fact, let me show you what that's like if I put my phone in there and I can cover my phone so it's, my phone's a little bit too large, but you can cover your phone. Actually, no, there we go, it fits. You could cover your phone so it doesn't distract you whilst it's driving. So I think that's really quite good. Overall then, let me show you the storage back here. So the storage, not back here, sorry, in here. The storage, you get this center cubby hole, which isn't the largest. You also get a glove box, which is reasonable size for a car of this size. But one thing I do like are these door bins. The door bins, I think, look quite large, and they're also lined with the soft material, so that's a plus point there. Other things to note in this interior is the sort of matte chrome that comes along the air vents all the way to this bit here, and you get interior ambient lighting, which is by default blue, but you can change that interior ambient lighting to 30 different colors. So yeah, I mean, as far as a nice interior that's practical as well, that's what you have here. But we're not just here to see the exterior and interior of the car, we're here to take it out on the road, and this is exciting. Let's go. Right, so here we go in the Mk8.5 Golf R. A few things that I didn't mention in the interior part of this video. Obviously, the rear seats. Rear seats are good for 2 adult passengers. If you're going to get 3 adult passengers back there, you might struggle. There is heating and air conditioning back there as well, so that's convenient. And I also didn't mention this sunroof, which is an optional extra, although you do have to slide it open and close manually. Talking about manually, I didn't also mention the seats, because the seats are adjusted manually as well. You do get electronically adjustable seats in this car, but I don't necessarily mind that if I'm getting all the performance that I'm getting in this car. I'm paying for this car, I'm not paying for those seats. But let's see what this car is like out on the road, because what we have here is 1.5 ton with 330 horsepower, 420 Newton meters of torque, and a wet day. So this might be a little bit lively, but let's see how it is. Because already what I'm feeling is a good deal of acceleration. Of course, that's what it should have. But it throws you back into your seats. And the seats are, I wouldn't say cushiony. They feel a little bit almost like a soft trampoline. They mold a little bit around your body. But yeah, you've got the performance there that you need. Let me tell you about the driving position. So I already mentioned these seats. The seats are rather comfortable. I think a good design for a range of people, a range of different sizes of people. Really good driving position actually, because I'm sat straight dead on from the steering wheel. I've got the infotainment system facing me. I've got a good visibility out the front and side mirrors. This A-pillar is not restricting my view at all, because I feel like I'm sat slightly high up in the car, but not high up as in I'm sat high up on the road. I feel like I'm sat low on the road, but the dashboard and everything around me is low, so I get a great view. Look how low this windowsill is. This door sill over here. Door sill, windowsill. This is the windowsill. Yeah. Look how low this sill is, and so I think that's quite convenient that you get a great view all around. Now, of course, with this being a Golf, it's going to be, you're going to look at practicality, you're going to look at space in here. I feel like I've got loads of space. This center console, really nice and low. Those brakes there, doing a decent job. Ooh, what's he doing? Right, okay. And then you've got the performance to match it. So I think in terms of driving this car every day, in terms of driving it with a family, for example, you shouldn't have much problems with the practicality side of things in terms of space. You've got ISOFIX points in the rear seats for child seats. You've got doors that open at a decent angle so you can get kids in and out of the car. Now let me tell you about this car's price. So it starts at around £44,000, and obviously if you can very quickly add loads of optional extras that'll take the price up. The one I'm testing today is £49,000, but that's because it has those optional extra alloy wheels. It's got the R styling pack, R performance pack, which comes free with those wheels as well. But you also get the sunroof is an optional extra. You've got the dynamic chassis control, so you can change the suspension settings in this car. I've currently got the suspension settings in just the default mode, but we're gonna change this driving mode now using this button over here. And if you put it into sport mode now, and then we accelerate, I don't know if you're hearing that exhaust note in the mic, but I'm definitely hearing that exhaust note in the car, and it sounds satisfying, and it sounds quite instant as well. As soon as I put my foot on the accelerator, I'm seeing movement, I'm feeling stuff, I'm getting pushed into the back of the seat. So I think that's really quite convenient. Unfortunately, where I am today, where I'm driving, it's not the Yorkshire Dales, or it's not somewhere where there's really great B roads, but I do have these roundabouts. So of course I'm not going to go too crazy on these roundabouts, but I'm just going to get a sense of feeling as to how this car feels when you're taking it around a corner or you're taking it around a bend, how it manages that. Because I drove the 20th anniversary edition of the Golf R, that was the Mark 8, and I felt like mid-turn you'd get a load of understeer, but in this car I'm not wanting to push it too much yet, because obviously I am out on the public road, but I am feeling like it might have solved those problems. Again, because it's wet, I don't want to push it too much, but I do still want to get a sense of feeling of this car. I'm coming to a bit of a bumpy road now, and you can feel the bumps. The suspension now in sport mode, you can feel them. I was just thinking, why can I feel those bumps now? It's because I'm in sport mode. Whereas in the default mode, I thought it was pretty comfortable for everyday driving. I thought, you could live with it very easily. Whereas now, I'm in sport mode, and you can hear those downshifts as I start to come to a stop. But yeah, even in sport mode, it's that exhaust note it's like an animal that's sort of has its prey and it doesn't want you to get near it. Oh, I'll tell you one thing, I am definitely feeling the G-forces side to side, that's for sure. The front does feel like it got a bit light there. But again, I have confidence that, especially on a dry day, you will have the confidence, you will have the grip, you can pin it in the corners. But I'll tell you what, it's exciting. It is exciting. I mean, there's a reason why this car sits in the 33E insurance group. You're going to be paying a lot for insurance in this car. We'll just go past this roundabout now, and then I'll just show you. That's nice. That feels good. That is satisfying to have that at your fingertips. You've got these flappy paddles, which have a nice click to them. Then you've got a nice exhaust note. I think I never really understood the appeal of Golfs. Especially, well, obviously I can certainly understand the appeal of performance Golfs, but I never really understood the appeal of them until I started to drive them. Especially starting with the Golf GTI Club Sport that I drove, and then obviously the Golf R that I drove. I now understand it, because you've got a small package which has so much power in relation to its weight, in relation to its dimensions and its size, and it can just go, and it can go around corners really easily. And then you also have the practicality of being able to park this really easily. So ultimately, I'm going to put my hands up and say, that was wrong of me. I understand how amazing Golfs are. and I can see why a lot of people will go out and buy them, and they have a lot of fun on them because the capabilities are quite incredible. I'm lost for words now with this review. There's probably so much more that I want to say, but I'm just going to savor this moment and just enjoy this car. And if you enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe, because then I can hopefully bring you more Golf R content. I know the Golf R has a bit of a loyal following, so I don't want to say anything wrong as well. I'm just letting you know how I feel, but I hope I've done the car justice in terms of how it feels. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you and take care.